many of you already know about the Women Entrepreneurs on the Web program? Nice. Good to see you all over here. I know we have met on Hangouts, over emails and things like that. It's good to actually see you live over here. And you guys can actually come over in the front if you want. There's a lot of space. It'll be more cozy over here. Yeah, come on up. So how has the sessions been so far? Like, have you been able to attend some of the other ones? Yes. What are some of the key takeaways? What did you like? What do you think you could have learned a little bit more? Can we get a mic here?
My name is Rekha, and basically I learned about AdSense, AdWords, and I have a software company called Live Your Dreams India.
Nice.
And we are into e-commerce solutions, and this is what I'm basically looking for. And I'm sure with this session I can
Very cool.
have more information about it.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else attended any of the other sessions apart from WeOw?
Hi,
Hey,
Ravi here. I attended not the web analytics, wait a second, I forgot what it
The Webmaster tools?
Yeah, Webmaster and the Track One G+.
Right.
Which was essentially what we are looking forward as a business persons.
Right.
G+ for business, so that's what our key takeaway was.
Nice, nice. So what we are going to cover over here, and for those who have not seen the Women Entrepreneurs on the Web program, this is something that we launched in end of January this year, and our goal was mainly to help entrepreneurs figure out what to do with the web and what are some of the tools available for them that they can use to optimally use the website, the web itself, to help, whether their goals are to get more customers, whether their goals are to reach with others and engage with each other, engage with customers, engage with stakeholders and things like that. So we basically came up with a 5-circle approach, and if you are on Google Plus, you basically understand the circles over here. So we basically said there are 5 circles in which you can kind of club these learnings into. The first one, of course, is build your online presence. Unless you are online, you are really not going to make the most of your website. Then understand how to collaborate effectively. What are some of the tools that you can use in order to basically, you saw some of the demos that we showed over there. You don't have to be in the same space in order to work together anymore. You don't even have to be in the same time zone. You don't even have to have the same kind of devices that you have, and you can still work together very efficiently. So what are some of the tools that you can use in your business to optimize your workflow, to connect better with your internal teams, external stakeholders, engage with your customers and things like that. Communicate, connect with your customers. We thought this was really important because in this new age where all your customers are online or are looking for information online, the better you engage with them, the more interactions that you have with them, the more connected they will feel with you. They will build customer loyalty. They are going to come back to your site again and again because of a really good experience that they might have had when you just like +1'd on their post or responded to a post or responded to a query really quickly. Like I post a question, someone answers really fast, like in 5 minutes, I would be really impressed with that particular company. So what are some of the tools that you can use to connect with your customers, and not just that, how do you use this effectively? How do you manage your time? Because the digital strategy is just one part of your life. How do you manage time between this versus the rest of the work that you have to do to get your business up and running, and manage both of them well? Of course, promoting your organization. What are the different aspects of promotion that are available to you online, free, paid, and how do you kind of balance those two? That's something that we include in the 4th circle. And the 5th one is track and optimize. So if you were there for the Google Analytics piece, that's what we mostly cover on. How do you track how your website is doing right now? What are your success goals? What are some of the things that you can really do in order to make sure that you are optimizing your conversions? You are getting more out of the number of people that are coming to your website, that are coming to your business page, or they are just interacting with you on social networks or recommending your page to others. So that is basically our program. And what we say is it doesn't have to be done in a sequence. You don't have to go from 1 to 5. You could jump in based on like what your experience and what your needs are at this point in time. So for example, if I already have customers and I want to know like how do I make them into loyal customers, how do I make them into repeat customers, I should focus on connect with your customer. If I have a new website, I still need people to understand my brand, my product, I would probably be focusing on the promotion part. I already have a good promotion strategy, everything is working great. I want to know what I am doing well and what I need to tweak. I'll probably be in the last circle, which is track and optimize. So this is basically the WoW program. We are mainly going to cover collaborate effectively and connect with your customers during this session, but we have a pod outside where you can find more information about this program, sign up, get resources, and like interact with us to find out more about how this fits in with your business. Right. So this is what we are going to talk about. A quick overview of what are the tools that are available to you online, how can you use it. We already saw a few demos, so I'm going to focus more on the communicate internally and connect with your customers part. Communicate internally is how do you work well with a team together? Like how do you get your employees online and how do you use that, like how do you get them to adopt the web the same way that you guys have, because you certainly are interested in the web. For example, if you don't even have employees, you have vendors that you work with, you outsource the work with someone else, or you contract it, or you have other stakeholders where they have financed your project, you want to send them reports and stuff. What are some of the things that you can do over here to connect with your internal team itself? And of course, connect with your customers. What can you do to engage with them? What can you do to show them that your brand is alive online and help them come to you first if they have any questions or if they have complaints rather than post like bad reviews? Or what do you do to fix those? If someone posts a bad review, what can you do over there? How do you engage with them? And things like that. We'll end with resources, which is basically where you can find more information on everything that we talk about throughout this whole session. So the first part is communicate. Basically, everyone wants to like get in touch with each other, whether it's team members, whether it's stakeholders. You might have to send an update to your boss. You might have to kind of send an update to your client. You might have to check in with a team member and say, okay, how well did this go? When can I get this project? Do you have a report for this? And things like that. For all of these are some of the tools that you can use. Basically, if you want to have like a record of what you sent, you could probably use email. You could draft out like a formal question and formal email and then send it over and say, could you please respond with XYZ kind of a thing. If it's more direct, more quick, you can see this person online, ping them and chat with them. In chat, you can also see things like the end call button. Basically, if that person is also online, has the video plugin installed, you could do an audio or a video call with them and just get a quick response. So you're working on a document or you're working on a presentation, you have a quick question, you want to say, okay, does this number mean what it means? Both of you are online, you could just ping and ask. If there are more people, you could even do like a hangout. You could do like a video chat with them where you could chat with 9 more people. Okay, sure. You could chat with 9 more people in addition to you and have like a one-on-one chat like we are doing over here. And we use Hangouts a lot for the WoW trainings too. So every week we have a training over a Hangout where we do something similar to this, but you don't have to travel, you don't have to commute, you don't have to step out of your house. You can just sit anywhere you are, log in with any device that you have that is enabled for Hangouts and then join in the conversation. Question?
I can do everything through my mail itself. Mail, chat,
Yes.
video, Skype, everything.
I wouldn't say replace, but this is certainly like an alternative. It's a video chat, yes. In Skype, it's more of a one-on-one. This basically, you can do a one-on-one or a group chat. There is no restriction over here. And we are also going to talk about Hangouts on Air, which is basically a broadcasted version of the same thing where you have a discussion between the 10 people, but you could broadcast it to the world publicly. So everyone can watch your discussion. So it could be an interview, and I'll show some examples of how our women entrepreneurs have used it. But it could basically be anything that you want to broadcast without having to like spend a lot on like video conferencing software and stuff like that. Cool. Any questions so far from the rest? Okay, moving on. Managing your schedule. I think this is really important regardless of whether you're online or offline. So calendar is a really great tool. I use it every day. All my reminders are on it. I know which room to go to as far as this track is concerned. I know when the breaks are and things like that. So I can easily figure out like where I need to be and what I need to do and things like that. But there's a very small tool which not many people know of, that is Google Tasks. And combining it with email, you can basically tag an email as a task and then add it to your calendar as a reminder. And that's a very powerful medium of kind of managing your tasks, whether it's a small project, I just need to write a review and send it across, or it's a bigger project which spans like 10 to 15 subtasks. I can use both of them together. So basically if I get an email which says, okay, send me a presentation for Google India, the G India presentations. I can just create a task out of it. It shows up in my calendar and I'll get a reminder for the spot when I put it on my schedule, so that I know that at this point in time I need to work on this presentation and send it across. And with calendar I could put in repeat reminders if I need to. If this is an ongoing task and I need to like send a report to my boss every week, I can put up a reminder over here that will automatically ping me either on my browser or on my phone or via email, whichever way that I like, but it will help me keep my schedule on track. Yes?
If we put it in a schedule, does it automatically send it? Instead of creating a task where we go open it and do it again, if I say every Monday this kind of format needs to be sent.
Right. So what Gmail does right now is if you put in like a time within your email, on your right hand side you will see an alert which says, do you want to create an event out of it? So if I say let's meet for lunch at 1 o'clock tomorrow, when you open up the email in Gmail, you will see an alert over there which says want to create an event, and if you click on it, it automatically adds it to calendar. So it doesn't create it automatically, in the sense it doesn't just look at your email and say okay, let me just create events based on that, but it's a one click thing.
No, what I was actually asking is, if I want to send a mail to a particular group every week or every alternate day, is there a way I can manage it within your schedule or task?
No, it will not send an email out to the group, it will send an email to you. So if you want, you can create a shared calendar which has everyone on it and set reminders for them. That's possible, but this will only send you an email.
Got it.
Yeah. And we actually have like +1 stickers for anyone who asks good questions. So you get one. Can you just give it to her and that gentleman over there too? And you're supposed to collect it and get something at the end. So yes, make sure you ask questions in every session. Share and collaborate. So we basically talked about how do you communicate. This is like, it could be one way, it could be both ways, multiple people. And then we talked about managing your schedule. Again, shared calendars is also possible. Now it comes to documents. How do you create reports? How do you create presentations? How do you create like budget allocations, spreadsheets and things like that. Google Drive, which was previously known as Google Docs, is a great way to do this. So basically I could create a document. If I had to write like a report on my trip to Chennai, I could create a report, share it with my co-workers who are also part of the same thing. We could all start typing at the same time. And if you saw some of the demos over here, you saw how difficult it was. Yes, question?
Yes. I'm not sure if it's a bug or a feature, but I think Google Drive doesn't work if you don't have internet, right?
There is also an offline mode for that. So I can show it to you after the session, but there is a way where you can set on offline mode and some of your documents will be available offline. It's available for spreadsheets and documents right now, not for presentations, but it's certainly possible.
And would I be pushed to use Chrome?
No,
Use it offline?
no. This will work on all browsers. You will also be able to, there's an app for Android and the iPhone, and you can also use the web version, the mobile web version on say BlackBerry or any other phone which has like a browser enabled phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So and again you can like edit on the phone, on the tablet, or you can just go ahead and edit on the browser itself. But basically this cuts down a lot of back and forth. So earlier when I used to, like when we did not have the drive suite, what we used to do was we would create documents, send it via email, someone would make a change, send it back to us, and then like someone else will say, oh I forgot to add this in. We'll have so many versions. At the end of the day, no one would remember who made what change, and we would end up with a document which we don't know whether it's a final version or not. In this case, there's no such issue at all. Everyone has the most recent version of the document. There's also revision history. So if you see that someone has made a change, you could go back and actually identify who made the change and what change was made. Very useful if you are looking at like budgets and stuff like that. You can certainly look back and see that. You can also give only comment or view only access to the document. So for example, if I am writing the document, I want their inputs, I don't want them to edit it. There's a comment option where they could add comments on the side, but they can't make any changes to the main document. So it's up to me then. I may or may not accept their comments, but they certainly have a say in it. Right. Sorry, question? Just a minute.
Yeah, when you say documents and spreadsheets, they can be edited in a shareable mode, but presentations can
Presentations is also shareable. If you have the internet, all three of them are shareable. If you don't have an internet, if it's offline mode, docs and spreadsheets have an offline mode. Presentations are currently not available,
Okay.
but that's certainly something that we'll look into.
editable is presentation also? Say I have 4 people out.
Yes, yes.
So I can edit the presentation.
Yes, you can edit a presentation. For example, this one, when I was creating it in docs, we have like there are 2 project leads for women entrepreneurs on the web, and I was sharing it with my co-lead who also added inputs, screenshots, everything. It's almost like you are on the same computer working side by side over there, and all 3 of them have revision history, so you know who made the change regardless of whether you were online at the same time or came back again later on.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cool. You also have sites. Google Sites is basically you could create like wiki-like smaller sites for yourself, or you could like have like a public site which is like your main website for your site itself. So the WeOw website, if you have seen this, it's basically built on Google Sites. And the way I have the reason I have put it in share and collaborate is just like, yeah, can you just give me 1 minute to complete this and then we'll come to you. Just hold on to the mic. Right. So, the reason, can you just lower it a little? The reason I have put it in over here for share and collaborate is just like you can share docs, presentations and spreadsheets. You can also share sites. Oh, this one? Oh, this is the reason. Okay, I'll keep it aside. Sorry. So, just as you can share docs and presentations and spreadsheets and have people work together on it, you can also have people collaborate on sites. You could give them access to just one page, like you are the owner of the main site. You could just give them access to one page to edit, or you could give them access to the whole site. Let them add more pages, let them make any changes that they want. And in the same way as this, there's also a comment mode. You can only keep the site read only, so only you can edit, or you can let just anyone edit it based on like whatever access level that you want to give to them. So that's basically sites. And coming to your question?
there are some business situations where someone needs the particular file as an input. For example, we have a CSV file, and that file will be given to input of some kind of a program that analyzes it. So will Google allows that particular file from the Google Docs to the program to analyze?
Yes, so you can download files from the Google Docs format into multiple popular formats including CSV. So if it's a spreadsheet, you will certainly have Excel, you will certainly have CSV and other formats. It also accepts imports. So you could, if you have a CSV output, you could upload it to Google Docs and share it as like an editable spreadsheet later on also. You can just. I can come. Yeah.
This is the way we are doing now. Actually, we download file from the Google Docs, and we, as a document format and CSV format, we do that.
Right.
There are some solutions like we can directly point to the URL of the Google Drive to get file directly from the drive. Is it possible?
So you are talking about APIs, right?
Yeah.
We can certainly check if that's possible. Let's meet up offline after this to discuss, to see what you are trying to do and see if that's possible. But for now, manually it's certainly possible. Let's kind of catch up offline to see if it's also possible via the API or anything of that sort. Cool. There are seats over here if anyone wants to come over.
Do you have a limit? How many people can go for a multiple edits? I mean, do you have a limit of people viewing or sharing?
So far, no. So we have had, I have at least seen up to like 30-40 people at the same time editing a document. It does go crazy. We might not be able to handle like the number of changes and things like that, but so far not really. Yeah. And if you just want to give it as to views to someone and not edit, you can certainly make it like it will be like a public link within your domain, or if you want to public to outside folks also, depending on the access that you want to give. And for viewable, there's no limit at all. Yes. Video, of course, video plays a huge, like it basically is a huge part of our life these days. Currently, if I want to like find out how I work or how I do something kind of a thing, I would probably go and search on YouTube rather than just go and search on Google at the first time. It's great for collaboration, and as I already mentioned, you have Hangouts that you can use to collaborate with each other. These can also be recorded. You could use like an external software to record like a private hangout, or you could use Hangouts on Air, which is like a recorded version, which is like a broadcast version of your hangout, and then it also gives you like a recorded version on YouTube itself. And finally, Google Plus. Sorry. And finally, Google Plus. It's a great tool not just for like informal interactions but also in the workplace. As I already mentioned, and you have already seen the Google Plus session, you can create circles and basically sort people out in circles. So I could have a circle for co-workers, I could have a separate sub-circle that I create for specific co-workers that are working on this project, and so on. I can also create a page for a program, the project that I am working on. So for example, if I am working on a project to create and deliver an app, probably I can create a circle just for those people and also have like a Google Plus page that I can create for that project and only share updates to that particular circle through that page. So Google Plus can also be used not just for like fun, but also within to interact with each other in the workplace itself, and having those circles makes it easier for you to segment whether it's for a specific project or for a specific group of people. So if you want to kind of eliminate some folks who don't need to be at this involved at this point of time, you could put them in a separate circle and include them only when their input is actually needed on the messages and stuff like that. Question?
Every time somebody is quitting the organization, it's a one-stop shop where you just like remove access for those people and all that. So how do you go about it on when I create a site and when I add them to the Google Groups? Because a lot of personal accounts and everything that is attached and all that. So how do I go about just like
Right. So her question was, what about access levels for people who have probably left the project or left the team itself? In all of these docs, presentations, sites, even Google Plus, you can easily remove people once they are done. Like if they have left the company, you can easily remove them so that they don't get access to this at all. If it's a publicly viewable or a link that you have made viewable within your organization or within to the public, you can reset the URL so that people who had it previously do not have access to it at all. You could also cut down the access level. So I make a public document, I don't want it public anymore, I can just switch it back to private, only to the people that I share. That's certainly possible over here. Yes.
Yeah, I have a doubt about YouTube. Yeah, I am having 5 accounts in my YouTube. Actually, I in first account I have collectively mixed nearly 125 videos. It's that 125 videos collections of some movie songs, some advertisements, some comedies, my own edited music videos. I have a copyright problem with that movie scenes I have posted. But with the copyright problem, they are deleted my whole account. My 125 videos are gone.
Let's catch up on this offline. We would certainly like to help you. The way YouTube works basically is it will scan your files to see if there are any copyrighted videos available. You get a chance to kind of work with the copyright holder to figure out whether you are allowed to use it or not. But if you are not, then naturally it will get deleted on like on the request of the copyright holder. We'll catch up on this after this so that I can kind of walk you through the process. Yeah. Cool. So moving on, let's talk about some of the ways that you can use these tools that we talked about internally in your organization itself. And when I say internally, I basically mean teammates, employees, with your boss, with your stakeholders, anyone who is supposed to be involved in the project, volunteers probably working on your project, vendors, anything that's within your project scope itself. So as I mentioned, you can use all of these tools to kind of communicate with each other. You can use these tools to basically manage your schedule and things like that. So here are just a few tips, and I'm also going to talk about some of the examples of how our women entrepreneurs have used it to kind of help you understand how it's used not just in Google but also outside of Google. So the first tip, manage your email overload by adding labels. This is something that I do often to every single email that comes in. Have any of you heard of like the Getting Things Done program, right? Getting Things Done basically says once a task is in your inbox, and it doesn't even have to be email. It could be just like your manual inbox. Once a task comes to you, take a decision based on what you want to do with it. Do you want to like complete it? Is it like something that can be done in a very short amount of time? Do it, get it out of the way. Is it something that needs to be done and then kind of you need more information, you are depending on someone else to respond to this, or do you need to kind of work on it on a very like for a little bit more time to get information to actually act on the task. You could do the same thing with emails. You could create labels and filters, and over here you can basically see the colored part over here. Those are basically labels that you can create and filters that you can create with your own custom colors. So I can say this label should be blue versus that label should be red and so on. But this gives you a quick visual cue on what needs to be done in your email inbox. So if I have a specific project, I can put in like a label for the project, and then anytime I can see incoming email for that project, I naturally know I need to work on XYZ for this one. Because Gmail is also integrated with Google+, if you have a circle for your co-workers, it can also highlight that this person is in the co-worker circle. So you could then get a ping from them to say, okay, I need to work on this because this is like an official email that has come to me, and things like that. Create shared calendars. As I said, you could create one calendar, share it with others. Again, you decide what the access level is, whether they can only see the schedule, your schedule, or can they add to the schedule and say like have like a consolidated project tracker kind of a thing. And of course use Google Tasks. That's like the best tip that I have ever used, because it helps me keep me on track, whether it's subtasks, whether it's larger project milestones and things like that. This has certainly helped me a lot overall. And collaborate effectively, as I said, use the Drive features in order to make shared documents, presentations and spreadsheets. The way, to give you an example of how people use this, one of our women entrepreneurs is in the design field. So she basically is a designer and she works with clients on getting like invitations printed, like really fancy invitations printed. Now she's the owner, but she certainly has to work with designers, she certainly has to work with the printer, she has to work with the clients and so on, and all of them are not on the same place. So she contracts, she freelances it to people who are available to work with her at that time. So naturally there is no office, she sits at home and works, everyone else sits at their home hopefully and works. And basically what they do is, so she gets the calls from the client, she puts down all the information that she needs, and then she reaches out to the designer, starts a shared doc with that person and says, okay, can you just give me like more information on this and things like that. And then the designer will let her know if her calendar is free, she will let her know that yes, I can work on this. Then it goes like the designer and the copywriter work together on the content, design it together in a presentation, send it over to her, then she looks at it and then she looks at it with the client. All of them have a hangout, they figure it out. If everything is fine, it goes to the printer. If not, they just go back and start working on the same this thing itself. This all wouldn't have happened if they were not working on shared documents, mainly because in that case everyone would have to be in the same place for this to work. But thanks to like web tools, this is certainly a possibility. As I said, Google Sites, certainly use it for mini sites to manage your projects and stuff like that. Create a circle in order to kind of send them specific targeted messages only for that particular project. Okay. Quickly moving on to connecting with your customers, because I see we only have like 10 more minutes over here and we have a little bit more to cover. So basically in your Google Plus profile, the first thing that I would say is in any social network or in any online media, whether it's your website, whether it's your Google Plus business page, whether it's your YouTube channel, the first thing that you need to look at is what does your customer want from you? What are they looking for what do you think they are looking for at least? If you don't have analytics to understand that, you should at least start with what do you think they are looking for when they search for you and come to your website. And then start building a website, building an online presence based on the information that you have based on that. So looking at like Google Plus as a medium to kind of connect with your customers, the first thing that you should do is make your profile appealing. A lot of people ask like, how do I get more followers? Even before you start thinking about it, go look at your profile from a user's point of view, someone who has seen like 20, 30,000 pages before they come to yours. See if they would really be interested in what you have to offer. If they don't fit in with your target market, maybe they are not going to add you to the circles at all. So the first thing, fill up your profile, personalize it, put in photographs that would appeal to them. For example, if it's a school, naturally you will put in photographs of children studying, playing around. So you can kind of say, okay, this is your target demographic, and like, okay, this is a school that I might be interested in putting my children into, kind of a thing. Include contact information. Naturally, at the end of the day, you want them to contact you. It's not going to be online all the time. If you are selling a product offline, like if it's in your store, you want them to look at your map and come to your store and buy it. If you're offering a service, if you're offering any other product online, you at least need a way for them to reach out to you. Certainly fill out your contact information and include as much information as you think will be needed for them. You could even include information like we have a weekly hangout, come and join us if you have more questions. Or we have weekly office hours where you can send in your questions and ask for more information and things like that. And before you even start looking for followers, post at least 5 to 6 interesting posts. Do not have like an empty profile and then go looking for followers, because what are they going to follow if they don't see any content at all on your page itself? And to segue into interesting content should be interesting to your target audience, who is going to actually come to you as a potential customer at a later day. At this point, they might not even be a customer. They are just like browsing around. They're just looking at what you offer. They might be thinking of your product, but probably not. So you should certainly think of potential customers, existing customers. What are they really interested in as far as your site is concerned, your business page is concerned, and what value do you have to offer in this case? So some of the tips and tricks over here. Naturally, you will talk about your own product, like updates about your product and service. This is like the launch date. Here's where you can find more information of it. What are some of the upcoming features and things like that. But apart from that, give them a little bit more value. If they are already following your page, create like a separate circle for them and give that circle like discounts and special offers. Even if it's like a sneak peek into your product, they would still appreciate that and be more loyal and engage with you more often than if you give them nothing at all. So look at your profile and see, am I only talking about my own product and service, or am I also adding value to the people who are following me? That's what we are kind of working on over here. Certainly use rich media as much as possible. So text is like passé. No one, if you think of your own like social networks, if you think of your stream, you probably scroll down like hundreds and hundreds of posts on a daily basis. If it's just text, it might catch your eye once or twice, but if it's a photograph, you're certainly going to pause, especially if it's like a nice colorful photograph. If it's a video, all the more better. I am certainly going to at least click in for the first 5 seconds to see if it's something interesting for me. So go beyond text, look for like video updates, and video is not hard to do. Like it could be just a quick overview of your product. It could be an introduction about your own business kind of a thing. Or it could be just talking about like tips about your product from other customers, like customers who have purchased the product. They talk to you about, okay, here are some of the ways I've used your product. Customer testimonials, always great in video, because in text, anyone can fake testimonials. In video, you're sure that this is not fake. There's certainly someone sitting over there recommending your business. It's certainly more personal than just a text line saying, this is a great company, I recommend it. And of course, news articles about your business and industry. Give them more information, give them at least some kind of additional information on what's happening in the whole vertical and not just within your this thing itself. Yes?
Is there like an optimum number of articles or posts per day or per week that works?
You talk about frequency of posts, right? Not really. It completely depends on like business to business. I would say especially for like a business page, like your Google Plus page, you should certainly have 4 to 5 posts per week to make it look that this is active. Like more is certainly welcome, but a minimum of 4 to 5 per week, because your website, you might not change it for like months at end. There might be just like, one product update or something or that. Your social media pages, you certainly need to be more active over there, because you certainly need to show the users that you are there and engaging with them and have enough information. So if I go to a page which has like the last post was like December 2011, I might not even bother adding it to my circles. I would think you are inactive. But if I see like the last post was like 2 hours ago, I would add it because I know that at least something is going on over here. I might be interested in those posts that I see over here.
Have you figured out overload threshold?
You mean info overload?
Yeah.
That I think again completely depends on business to business, and the best people to ask are your customers yourself. Like we'll talk about like how you engage with your customers in the session after this. We have one more session where we'll focus a little bit more on this. But we'll talk about how do you engage with your customers in such a way that you get them to tell you what they are interested in. And that's when you ask them, like, is this the right kind of information are you getting, or what else would you be interested in? And you also look at your engagement levels from the customers end, how many of them +1, how many of them reshare, look at the ripples in your post to see who are the influencers who can help you kind of work this out. Yeah. Right. And as I said, engage with your followers. If someone +1s or posts a comment, certainly respond back. Show them that you care, show them that you are interested in their whole this thing, and are listening to them and things like that. Respond, especially if they're +1 and things like that. This is a school, as I mentioned, where they're using Google Plus as part of their own, like to share information with parents and all. So this is an event where children are sharing their skills, and the information goes to parents. It is shared only with parents, and you can see over here they are kind of posting comments, +1ing them, saying it's great and things like that. When this happens, certainly engage back with them. Host hangouts, not just text again. Connect with them one-on-one via live video chats. It doesn't even have to be a long time, like 15-20 minutes per week, but that still makes a huge amount of difference going forward. And of course, connect with other groups within the industry. Within Google Plus, you can go and search for people who are interested in the same kind of stuff that you are interested in, whether it's business, whether it's passions like hobbies and stuff. So you can certainly find communities that will be interested in the same kind of information, and then you can kind of engage with them and find potential buyers over there too. And the last bit, of course, beyond the basics, is you could create events and again have like hangouts to kind of connect with your users. Events is basically like a page that you create for a specific event like this. Or it could be something like an ongoing event like come and meet me every Friday on this hangout. But this basically helps you keep track of people who want to attend your event. It also helps you keep track of whether people are going to be there and things like that. And this is flashing red, so I'm just going to quickly skip through, but we can talk about all of this at the WeOw pod, and later just catch me if you have more questions. And you will have these decks available online as soon on the Google India, G India websites. So you will have access to all of these resources and things like that. And if you want to look at any of the like detailed tutorials on anything that we discussed, this is the link to go, and it's also available on the WeOw pod where you can get more information. So I'm going to end now. We have a panel, and we have panel members waiting for a very interesting discussion, but please feel free to catch up anytime that you want. This is my Google Plus, so it's plus.ly/Pooja. Feel free to add me to your circles and ping me if you have any questions at all. Thank you very much.